Hi there, I am back with some more recommendations for you. Now, I know I already talked about the Beatles, but they just have so much good stuff. So, I'm going to start with the 1975 John Lennon Plastic Ono Band compilation album, Shaved Fish. Now, in my opinion, of the Fab Four, John had the most prolific post-Beatles career. I don't know about you, but I find that a lot of artists really start to fizzle out when they no longer have things to sing about. When they're just creating music for the sake of creating music, the quality and the depth just isn't there. But even after the Beatles broke up, Lennon still had some really powerful music. And I believe it's because he was so passionate about what he was singing about. You can literally hear him working through his abandonment issues in Mother. And Imagine is ranked as the third greatest song of all time by Rolling Stone magazine. But the single I really want to focus on today, seeing as we are moving fully into the Christmas season, is the 1971 release, Happy Christmas or War is Over. Although we view this as a Christmas standard today, it was originally a protest song against the Vietnam War. During John and Yoko's peace campaign in late 1969, they put up billboards in 12 major cities across the world proclaiming, "War is over," with the subtext, "If you want it." These words would then become part of the lyrics in the Christmas single 2 years later. This is what I think is so great about this song, is even though it was written about a conflict that ended over 45 years ago, the message in it is still applicable today. I absolutely love the opening lyrics. And so, this is Christmas. And what have you done? Another year over, a new one's just begun. It doesn't seem to matter how many times I hear that, I immediately begin to reflect on my past year, particularly the choices I've made. Speaking of choices, if you're looking for some reading material over the course of the holiday season, might I suggest a classic whodunit? And where better to turn for said whodunit than the queen of crime herself, the #1 best-selling novelist of all time, Dame Agatha Christie. Now, there are a lot of classics to choose from here. Perhaps her most famous novel and the #1 selling mystery in history, that rhymed. And Then There Were None. This is literally the only book I've ever read cover to cover in one sitting. Murder on the Orient Express is another one of her prominent works and has been adapted to film and television numerous times. Most recently by Kenneth Branagh in 2017. Not only did he direct the film, but he also stars as the brilliant and quirky Belgian detective Hercule Poirot. A sequel, Death on the Nile, has been created, but who knows when it will be released. Now, in the spirit of the Christmas season, I'm actually going to recommend a bit of a hidden gem here, the 1938 publication Hercule Poirot's Christmas. The events in this book take place from December the 22nd to the 28th and revolve around an impossible crime. A murder is committed in a locked room, which means there was no way for the killer to get in or out. Now, right around the same time that this book was released, a man named Philip Van Doren Stern began writing a 4,000-word short story called The Greatest Gift. It took him 4 years to finish it, and when he was finally done, he really struggled to find a publisher. So he actually decided to print it off as a pamphlet, and he sent out 200 copies of it as a Christmas card to his family and friends. A few years later, it was adapted to the screen and nominated for 5 Academy Awards. It's a Wonderful Life is directed by Frank Capra and stars Jimmy Stewart and Donna Reed. I watch this film every Christmas Eve. Granted, I always fall asleep halfway through it, but that's not a reflection of the quality of the movie. but my exhaustion as a parent. Now, I think it's safe to say most people have seen this film, seeing as it's 84 years old, and it's on TV all the time during the holidays. But if you haven't, it's the story of a small town man named George Bailey who is thinking of ending his life on Christmas Eve. Worried about his absence and his state of mind, his family and friends pray for him. God answers this prayer by sending an angel named Clarence to intervene in George's time of desperate need. And that's all I'm going to tell you about the plot, because I think it's important that you watch this film this holiday season. Many of us are facing an isolated and potentially very lonely Christmas, and it's so easy to fall into the pit of despair. I think that watching movies like this one can encourage us so much because they remind us of our value and significance. Let me know what you thought of these recommendations, and feel free to leave suggestions of your own in the comments below. Take care, everybody.